Cosmos is oftentimes labeled as a layer 0. However, the reality is that Cosmos is just a network of sovereign layer 1s that are all interconnected to each other through what one might call layer 0 technology, IBC, the Interblockchain Communication Protocol. As Cosmos is a network of layer 1s, the question is, which coin should you be holding? Which coins are giving you the most exposure to Cosmos technology? And that's why in today's video I will talk about my top 5 coins in Cosmos that are already existing today, right? I can also make this video in the future about top 5 upcoming launches in Cosmos if you want to hear about that. But let's talk today about 5 coins in Cosmos that are already existing and my biggest bets for 2023. Now, first of all, this is obviously no financial advice. You're old and mature enough to take your own responsibility and accountability of all the crypto investment decisions that you are taking. However, what I will talk about today is what I'm personally doing, right? And this is just based on my personal experience, my personal conversations I had on this YouTube channel here also with core developers. By the way, if you're not subscribed yet to this YouTube channel, you should definitely do so, because I cover Cosmos as an ecosystem here extensively. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you very much for being here and watching this video. Now, I also have to say that I'm pretty much invested in every single Cosmos coin out there. And also all the coins that I will talk about today, I am personally invested in, right? It's actually very tough to nail it down to just 5 projects because Cosmos has more than 50 coins that are already right now trading. So it's really hard for me to just say, hey, these are the top 5 coins that I'm betting on, because in fact I'm betting on a lot more than just 5, right? But I'll just give you my top 5, which I think has also the highest chance and highest likeliness that they will still be around in the next coming years, right? So those are my long-term strongest convictions in Cosmos. Let's start with coin number 1, my strongest conviction in Cosmos, and that is obviously the Cosmos Hub Atom. The Cosmos Hub is a layer 1 blockchain in the Cosmos ecosystem, but it's the one that brought IBC to life. It's the one that bootstrapped all the other communities in Cosmos, right? It's often used as the base layer to give out an airdrop to bootstrap new communities. So in my opinion, the Cosmos Hub in the past had its role to bootstrap Cosmos and as an ecosystem, and it has successfully done that, right? It proved that Tendermint works, it proved that the Cosmos SDK works and is robust. Also, it launched IBC. So the Cosmos Hub has a strong track record and history. However, very important to understand, it's not a layer 0, it's just an L1 competing with the rest in Cosmos. Now the big question is, moving forward, now that the ecosystem at Cosmos is flourishing, what's the role of the Cosmos Hub and what's the value accrual for Atom? The role for the Cosmos Hub, in my opinion, is that it will be an interchain service provider, which means that the Cosmos Hub provides services to other chains in Cosmos. The first one, and probably the biggest one and most sustainable one, is going to be that the Cosmos Hub will be a shared security platform, which means that new chains can borrow security or rent security from the Cosmos Hub. There's also an economic incentive model behind that. So basically, those new consumer zones, as they're called, which is basically the equivalent to parachains in Polkadot, these new consumer zones will have to basically pay for rent. And that is an insane value accrual mechanism for Atom, and gives also Atom stakers and delegators a whole new level of revenue, right? So what does that exactly mean? That means that, let's say, interchain security successfully launches sometime end of this month or sometime in February. We see the first proposals online. Then we see the first chain, which is probably going to be Neutron, which is developed by a team that also built Lido, the most successful liquid staking solution on Ethereum. Let's say these proposals go live on the Cosmos Hub governance and go through. That means that if you stake Atom, you would also earn the NTRN token. You would also earn every other token that is launching as a consumer zone or the Cosmos Hub as a staking reward. And that's a big game changer in my opinion, right? So that would mean that as an Atom staker, you're exposed to more than just Atom. And also Circle, which is the company behind one of the largest stablecoins in the world, USDC, is building their own consumer zone, which is a native asset issuance zone on the Cosmos hub, right? And actually, just after Cosmos, I also had a call with them and I had a chat, and they're super bullish about Cosmos, right? They're also launching on other ecosystems such as Near and Polkadot, but they are very bullish on Cosmos. Would that mean that in the future, if you stake Atom, you also earn USDC? I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, it's definitely interesting, and it would be wild if you also earn stablecoins and various assets that are highly liquid out there as of right now. And I think that's a strong, compelling reason to at least not unstake your Atom, but it also means that the Cosmos Hub now has a clear value accrual for Atom, right? In the future, there will also be more things, right? There will be things like MBV solutions where Cosmos Hub could also provide a service for, or the what's called the allocator, right, which we had in the Atom 2.0 proposal, where the Cosmos Hub could potentially also be a funding source for other ecosystems or other chains in Cosmos. There's a lot of things that are coming. Also, when we talk about IBC routing, that could also be positioning the Cosmos Hub as a terminal for IBC traffic. But the first one is interchain security, and I'm very excited for that one to go live, right? And in the future, also, Atom will probably adjust its tokenomics. We just had extensive conversations around that in the Cosmos Hub community, regards to emissions, inflation, bonded ratios, all these kind of things. But I think that's something that after a successful launch of interchain security, where these conversations could be revamped, and hopefully there will be something coming out of this. So very bullish on Atom, very bullish on the Cosmos Hub for 2023, and I think it's essential in any Cosmos portfolio. However, holding Atom, in my opinion, is not enough if you want to bet big on Cosmos for 2023. That's why here's my second coin, my second top coin, highest conviction coin for 2023 in Cosmos. And that is obviously Osmosis, right? Osmosis, in my opinion, is the best DEX in crypto. It has the best user experience. It has features that no other DEX in crypto has, such as superfluid staking. I actually also made tutorials about that, literally when Osmosis launched over a year and a half ago. So yeah, Osmosis, I've been using it since day one. Big fan, and also think the tokenomics of Osmo, right now, obviously, we're still in the early stage, so the emissions of Osmo are still quite high, but it's capped at 1 billion, right? So there will be 1 billion Osmo coins. That's the max supply, reached after, I think, 12 years. And once that happens, after several halvings, I think Osmo will be in a very strong position because it also has a lot of value accruals, right? Remember how I said at the beginning that Cosmos is a network of L1s? Osmosis is also an L1, which means that the Osmo coin is used for staking to secure the chain. So you are securing the chain and providing governance as a utility for the Osmo coin. Those are the two biggest utilities for Osmo. However, as Osmo is also the native coin of the Osmosis DEX, it is also used there for a lot of things, right? You see a lot of liquidity pools are packed with Osmo. You also see superfluid staking as a feature that I already mentioned, which provides another utility for Osmo within the DEX ecosystem that Osmosis has built. And there will be a lot of more DeFi applications coming onto Osmosis, such as Mars protocol that just migrated from Terra after Terra collapsed. Mars now has an outpost in the works on Osmosis, so that's really cool. And at the same time, they're also building their own chain, but they will first launch on Osmosis. And you just see a lot of more integrations, also fiat on-ramps, right, with Kato, for example, and a lot more that's coming. So I'm very bullish on Osmosis as a DEX. Sure, it got a little bit dry in the past few months, but it still has $200 million worth of liquidity on Osmosis, and that's a lot of money, right? Yeah, especially in the bear market. And I think the team, we talk about that as well. Osmosis, strong product market fit, tokenomics are pretty sound in my opinion. There's clear value accrual for Osmo. What about the team? I think the team behind Osmosis is probably one of the strongest teams in crypto, right? Not just Cosmos, but crypto. You have Sunny Argawal, who is and Cosmos OG, one of the smartest people in crypto. I met him a couple of times, and there is so much respect for Sunny from other builders. Then you also have Josh Lee, co-founder of Kepler as well, or JNapsys, the team that's building the Kepler wallet. He's a strong product guy and UX guy. And then you have a lot more people that are also not maybe that public, but they're still extremely smart, very knowledgeable about Cosmos technology. Yeah, they just have strong developers, right? Also Dev, who is incredible developer in Cosmos now for a couple of years. And also what most people probably don't know is that Osmosis is also a smart contract platform, right? Osmosis also integrates Cosm WASM, which is a smart contract platform natively for Cosmos, and they have it in a permission way. Yeah, that's really cool. It also won't get spammed that way. Yeah, tailored applications for the Osmosis DEX will be there. And also, especially Sunny has pioneered this idea for mesh security, which is probably the end game for shared security in the end of the day, which basically means that a lot of chains can just share security to each other and be a consumer of shared security as well as a provider at the same time. And this is a very interesting concept. Now, my third conviction for 2023 in Cosmos is Stargaze, right? So my first conviction, Atom, is more like the general infrastructure in Cosmos. Then you have Osmosis, which is DeFi or the premier DEX in Cosmos. Stargaze is the NFT equivalent of Osmosis, right? So Stargaze is the premier NFT marketplace in Cosmos. They have very strong product market fit, strong branding, great UX, and they already onboarded their first 1,000 collections onto Stargaze, which is a remarkable achievement, especially if you look at the current market environment that we're in. And also the fact that Cosmos right now is not yet the large ecosystem in crypto, right? It still has high upside potential, which I personally see as an opportunity. Some people might criticize that, but I see that as an opportunity for growth in 2023 especially, right? A lot of people are currently doing their homework. They will ask, like, what's the Uniswap of Cosmos? What's the OpenSea of Cosmos, right? And we already have that today. So if Osmosis is the Uniswap in Cosmos, Stargaze is the OpenSea in Cosmos. It's as simple as that, right? And I think given that it's all IBC compatible, they also work on a new token standard that is heavily integrating IBC to make cross-chain NFTs. But in the end of the day, the point is that there's a lot of innovation on these chains right now. And in fact, all these teams, that's why I also pointed out in the beginning the importance of the teams. All these teams are sufficiently funded to weather any bear market. They are very knowledgeable about Cosmos technology and committed, right? So they actually love this environment right now. They love when things are bearish or sideways because there's less noise in the market. They currently also have a quite low market cap, if you ask me, sitting at rank 470, 471, something like that, and just less than $100 million fully diluted, right? Market valuation, which is not much if you ask me. Max supply here is 4 billion coins, and the price currently is less than 2.5 cents, which is really nothing. I'm excited about Stargaze and Stars for 2023. Now, my fourth coin for 2023 in Cosmos is Evmos. And Evmos, interestingly, does not deploy Cosm WASM smart contracts. So Evmos is not Cosmos only, right? Evmos actually implements the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. So it's basically Ethereum as a Cosmos chain, interoperable through IBC, and has a whole new set of features that are impossible to implement on Ethereum, right? Evmos is just Ethereum on absolute mega steroids, and I think it's still early. The ecosystem is still immature and very thin and narrow, but that's also because they launched in an absolute bear market. But I think that Evmos has strong potential. It definitely has strong product market fit, but it has strong potential also for the ecosystem to really make big waves, absorb a lot of developers, and really shine when the next bull run hits, right? And if you look at the numbers, Evmos currently is the third most used Cosmos chain if you look at monthly active users. Evmos currently has 125,000 monthly active users, which is remarkable, right? That's outstanding, especially for such a young chain. Now, that also might be because the Evmos coin is still in its early high emission rollout phase, which means staking rewards are quite high. However, that this might transition into an active user base, right? We had the same with Osmosis, the Osmo coin. also had very high inflation in the beginning, high emissions, but then these restakers and people that just come for the high yield for staking, they actually turned into active users of the platform, right? Which is why I think it's actually essential for Evmos to now have a killer application, at least have a major DEX. There's already some stuff going on there, but I would just like to see deeper liquidity, higher TVL, and overall more excitement around the ecosystem, right? Which is obviously hard given the current market environment. But I think this needs to come. They actually also used to be channel sponsors here of Cryptocito up until I think 3 or 4 months ago. But yeah, I think Evmos really needs more traction in terms of the ecosystem. The chain itself is running really smooth. They are also one of the fastest Cosmos chains out there. So typically Cosmos chains or Tendermint-based chains have a finality of 6 to 7 seconds, right? The block time. In Evmos, they got it down to 2 seconds, right? Which is really, really cool. So it's super fast, it's interoperable, and it's more than just Ethereum with IBC. So stay tuned for their roadmap announcement this month or next month. There's a lot that's coming, and especially if you zoom out a little bit and say, hey, I might be bullish on Evmos, but I'm probably more bullish on Ethermint, because Ethermint is the framework on which Evmos is built, and it has now been used by other chains such as Kava, Kanto, or Barra chain that's in the works. Actually also Kronos, the chain from Crypto.com, is also using Ethermint. But I'm very bullish on the team, right? Federico, Liam, you have Nick, you have also Akash, right? They're very solid, they know their stuff. They just grew their team to, I think, over 20 people now. They have a lot of strong engineers, strong community, obviously. I think now they're only starting to work on their marketing strategy and also how to get probably bigger, already existing EVM dApps onto Evmos. So stay tuned for announcements there. I personally don't know any names. I just think that that's what they're working on, and yeah, let's see, maybe there's a surprise coming up in Evmos. Now my fifth and final coin for 2023 in Cosmos is actually really, really hard because there's so many coins and so many projects in Cosmos that I really love, right? So if you go down the list here, there's Juno, right? I really like Juno. I think Juno has a lot of challenges to overcome. There's been a lot of drama in the past, but Juno is amazing. I love Secret Network, privacy focused, unparalleled, and there's a lot that's in the works with Secret, both in the NFT front, but also on the DeFi front, right? With Comdex that just launched their algorithmic stablecoin. They also just launched their lending platform with Komodo. You have Stride liquid staking, Akash network, which is absolutely essential, right? I think Akash is probably one of the least sexy and least talked about cryptos in cryptocurrencies in Cosmos, but I think it's one of the most essential or one of the most sustainable ones out there, right? Then we have Chihuahua, which is actually a meme coin, but it's a meme coin that actually works on some stuff, right? So they have stuff in the works, Persistence, liquid staking hub, Crescent, also DeFi stuff, Sentinel, decentralized VPN, Kujira also, right, which I haven't done a deep dive yet, but still plan on doing so. Regen Network, which it's one of my favorite coins for their mission that they have, building a decentralized carbon credit marketplace. So you have so many projects in Cosmos, Injective, right, Sommelier. The list just keeps going on and on and on. But the race for the 5th spot in Cosmos is so tight between especially 2 coins that I'm a big fan of, that have strong product market fit in my opinion, and one of the smartest teams all over crypto. These 2 coins are BLD and AXL, right? So Agoric and Axelar, I'm a big fan of both platforms. I think Axelar already has proven that they're a strong product market fit. They already launched Satellite a couple of months ago, which is just basically a beta version, but it connects more than 10 chains out there, right? It connects Arbitrum, Avalanche, Binance Chain, Celo, the Cosmos Hub, Ethereum, Phantom, right? All these chains, even Polygon and Terra and Stargaze and Secret, all these chains are now interconnected to each other thanks to Axelar. So the end goal for Axelar is basically build a terminal, like an interoperability layer that just seamlessly connects all these chains and all these bridges, right? IBC is great for Cosmos chains, And I think also IBC will go beyond just Cosmos, right? We see implementations with Composable. We see implementations also probably coming up at Near. Axelar is already some steps ahead here. It's already routing billions of value through their protocol. At the same time, you have Agoric, which is a JavaScript smart contract platform, and there's over 10 million JavaScript developers in the world. So they have a strong addressable market in terms of developers, and they already have one killer application, which is for interstable token, IST, that is already live and already has over 1 million IST that were minted. They also just added support for DAI. So if you hold DAI, you can also mint IST now. And I think that's very interesting and very strong, especially after a collapse of UST sometime in Q2 last year. Agoric is working on big stuff. They're for crypto people and JavaScript people for decades, not just for years, but for decades. And the Axelar team actually has a bunch of founding members from Algorand, which is an interesting ecosystem in my opinion as well. But there's strong experience here as well. It's really between those two, and it's very hard for me to decide which one. If you were to put a gun on my head, I would probably, as of right now, go with Axelar to take the 5th spot, but Agoric is very strong, and I just named you a list of projects. And forgive me if I forget your projects, if I forgot to shill your bags. There's a long list of Cosmos chains that I'm very excited about and that I'm also personally holding, right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Also check out my Cosmos investment challenge that I started nearly a year ago, where I talk about my investment mentality and also in real time investing in cryptocurrencies in Cosmos. Use the products and restake, harvest airdrops and all these kind of things. So if that interests you, then subscribe even more, watch my previous videos, make suggestions for future content, right? If you want to see this exact video for coins in Cosmos that are not live yet, then let me know and I will make that. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and be good.